And the next section, number 4, we call it run the model. This section will be used as, if you use the model as developer's perspective, and you want to create your own scenario with some modifications either to the input file like the SD data or the highway network or the transit lines. So you want to create your own scenarios and make those modifications and run the model to see the result of your own scenario. So this section will teach you the typical modifications we might have and how to make them. So here we're using a model example to cover this section. So the example would be, this only example, and there's nothing related to the real world. So the example would be the University Mall of Tampa. So it's west to USF area. And the example shows that we do some improvement for this University Mall. And we're building new homes and new offices, and we'll expect to increase 200 dwelling units, 500 permanent population, and 300 service employment to this University Mall area. And that means in our model, we need to modify our SD data as an input for this area, and specifically for this TAZ. Then next, to accommodate the expansion, we want to widen Bruce B. Downs Boulevard, which is highlighted here, east of this University Mall. We want to widen this road from 6 lanes currently to 8 lanes. And we would also like to have a centroid connector that connect directly this TAZ to the Bruce B. Downs Boulevard, to the road. And then next, we would like to extend a few transit services that run nearby. So we want to reroute the original HART transit services, HART_18. This route originally runs through Livingston Avenue and is going south to Bruce B. Downs Boulevard and follow Bruce B. Downs Boulevard to go into Tampa downtown and vice versa. So in this case, we would like to reroute it to follow Bruce B. Downs Boulevard all the way to New Tampa area. And this modification will attract a few New Tampa residents to visit University Mall taking this bus. So we want to realign the route on Bruce B. Downs Boulevard and extend north to New Tampa area. So to do this new scenario and make those modifications, we need to do 4 steps. And the first one is we want to create a 2015 alternative scenario. And assuming that this is going to be simulated in year 2015. And then within this new scenario, we want to modify SD data to accommodate our expansion, and then widen the highway links and to accommodate the network change for highway links. And finally, to extend the transit lines is to realign this transit route. All right, so come to our first step will be create a new scenario. Assuming that it's going to be 2015, so we'll create a new scenario under base year 2015. So in the model main application, we go to the scenario windows. Then we expand the base, we see there are 4 scenarios already existing there. 15 base, 24 A plus C, 35 interim year, and 45 cost affordable. So this is year 15, and so we want to right click year 2015 and click add a child. So if I add a child under an existing scenario, this child would automatically get all the keys values from its parent from this 2015 base scenario. So when you click add child, it will allow you to input the name for your scenario. So here we just input year underscore 2015 underscore example. So here is note that this scenario cannot start with numbers. So that's why we have year in the beginning. You cannot input like 2015 underscore example, it's not allowed. And also, it would be best to not use space in between of your word. So using underscore will create no worries. So just make sure you don't use space. When you input this name, hit enter, then a scenario property window will pop up. And you don't need to worry about the code, but in the description, and you could input whatever the description is for your scenario. For this case, we'll input year 2015 example scenario used for training purposes only. So this is a place to remind you which scenario is this one. Then you hit OK for the scenario property window, and then this window, the scenario editing window, will automatically show, and it will allow you to review and edit all those keys that will be used for this scenario. So on the very bottom, you could have a few buttons, next and back, to scroll, next and back to view different pages for this scenario editing window. And you could save it and close it, and you could even run this scenario using the button here. So the key thing here, whenever you create a new scenario, you want to review these keys, starting from the alternative letter, alternative year, title network, all the way to alternative year directory. So those keys are very important. Make sure you review them when you create your scenario. So for this case, it's 2015 base year as well. So I will leave this alternative year as 15 as well. For alternative letters, ideally, we may want to change it to B to differentiate from our base scenario network. But here, I just leave it A, it's fine too. If you change it to B, you will have to change everything from your input folder to accommodate this B alternative letter. Like for example, right now we have base underscore 15a.net as our input network. If you change this one to B, you will need to rename the network, the input network to 2015 underscore, the base underscore 15b.net. And then this alternative year directory is also very important. It by default will show underscore, this TBRPM version 9, then base folder, then year underscore 2015 underscore base scenario. So that's the same directory as the base year scenario. But we don't want to overwrite anything in the base scenario. We want to create a new folder for our example scenario. So here we want to input year underscore 2015 underscore example to create our new folder or directory for this scenario. When I finish input that, you could say save and close this window. When you save and close, your new scenario will be created. And if you go back to your Windows Explorer, go into the base year 2015 base folder, you will see in addition to input, output, and temporary folder that we use for 2015 base scenario, you will see a new folder here created that's called year underscore 2015 underscore example. So that's the folder used for our new scenario. But if you go into this new folder, you will see nothing there. But we need to have something there to run our model. And since it's 2015 and the input should be the same as 2015 base year, we just copy and paste the input, output, and temporary folder all the way into this new scenario, the example scenario folder. And when we finish copy, we could edit whatever we want to edit in this new scenario. So after copy and paste, we go back to our Cube main application and click this year 2015 example scenario. Then we review those input to see those Z-datas, to see the Hive networks. Are they existing in our new folder directory or not? And to make sure you review the path for these files to make sure it's under the example scenario input folder. That's how we create a new scenario, and then keep selecting this new scenario. Then we'll go to edit our SC data, our Hive network, and our transit network. The next step is to modify the SC data. Then you had shown you how to go into the SC data to review the SC data. Then here we do the same. We find the ZData1 and ZData2, and we will modify those. Remember, our requirement is to add 200 dwelling units, 500 permanent population. Those information are included in ZData1. 300 service employment, that's in ZData2. So first, we double-click ZData1_15A DBF file to edit the ZData1 file. Using the navigation button to navigate to TAZ307, which is a TAZ for the University Mall. Go to this TAZ307, see that you should see 0 DU and 0 population there for the existing base scenario condition. So here we want to add 200 dwelling units to add 500 population. So what you do is single click this cell under the DU column and then input 200. And then single click the population cell and input 500. After you input those numbers, you click the post edit button, this button, to accept the edits. And then you could close this file. So for this column headers like DU, PCTVNP, like POP, if you don't know what that means, don't worry. You could refer it either in the user's procedural guide or in the cheat sheet. They have explanations over there to make sure you understand which column is meaning what. That's for ZData1. And then go to ZData2, double-click this ZData2 file, navigate to TAZ307, and you review the employment side. Industry employment 11, commercial employment 1144, but that's not of our concern. Service employment 500, you should see 291 for the base year condition. But here we want to add 300, makes it 591. So you single click this cell, input 591, click this post edit button to accept your change. But also remember to change. There's a column called total employment. So the total employment is the sum of industrial, commercial, and service. So you add 300 to the service, you also need to add 300 to your total employment. So instead of 1446 plus 300, you should click this cell, input 1746 as your total employment. Click the post edit to accept, and then you can close the ZData2 file. So that's how you change your ZData2 file for this University Mall expansion. Okay, so now the next step will be modify the Hive network. So remember, our requirement is to widen a piece of Bruce B. Downs Boulevard from 6 lanes to 8 lanes. And then we will add a new centroid connector to connect TAZ307 directly to Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. Okay. So before doing that, you need to open the base year network for the new scenario, the input network, with this red background file. So you double click it, going into the Bayesian network. And if you are asked to provide any transit-related files, you could just tell Cube, okay, so this micro-coded stop will be the transit use-only node stop file, and just read in to give Cube the information for those transit use-only nodes. And then if your transit lines are showing on the highway network, you could clear them to leave only highway network if you just want to add a highway network. If you're not asked to doing that, that's fine, because those transit line files are not read into your highway network. So you don't have to worry about those, but you may need to review your transit later after you modify your highway network. Okay, for your highway network, zoom into the study area. On the left, it will be University Mall, and this node in the middle will be TZ307 Centroid node. And here, the road within the rectangular 5 and 6 would be the Bruce B. Downs Boulevard from Fowler Avenue to Fletcher Avenue. You'll see the color here is green, and in our predefined VPR file, the green means 3 lanes each direction, so that's 6 lanes total. And we want to modify it to 4 lanes each direction, 8 lanes total. So how do you do this? You could click this link to reveal its attribute. And in the attribute, you find this row, num_lanes. That means the number of lanes. You should see 3 and 3 there for each of the directions. But then you just single click it, change it to 4 for each of the directions. After you finish editing those, click the Save Current item to save your edits. And then this link will become 4 lanes each direction. And its color will be turned pink, I guess, to indicate 8 lanes total, 4 lanes each direction. And then for the remaining links along Bruce B. Downs from Fowler to Fletcher, just click each of the links and make the same modification and save your edits to do, for the remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 links. And then you finish modification or widen this Bruce B. Downs portion from 6 lanes to 8 lanes. Okay, so next task is to add a new centroid connector. Here we're showing the actual step is to split one link. And so you have a middle node, and we want to connect the centroid using centroid connector directly to the middle node. Actually, this new centroid connector could connect to the existing node as fine, but here we just show you how do you want to connect to a new node. So first, we want to split this link to create a new node in middle. And you click this link, right click, then you will see the options available here. You click split. Then you'll be asked if you want to split, you want to specify your middle node, or you want to add a new node at what % from A. So we want to specify our middle node, click OK. And then your mouse cursor will become a cross. Then you click anywhere you want to say it's a new node location. Click there. If there is no existing node over there, you will see this windows pop up. Do you want to add a new middle node? I'll say yes. And then give this middle node a node number. So the currently unused node here is listed for your information. You could choose either one of them. But here in this example, we just use node number 9999 for, just easy remember this node. But to this knowledge, I want to remind you that every node number under 5,000 will be left to use for centroid or external stations. And starting from 5,000 will be the highway link nodes, the highway nodes for each of the counties. So typically 5,000 through 10,000 will be nodes used for Hillsborough County, and 10,000 through like 14,000 will be used for Pinellas County, and etc. So here we just use this number 9999. So input 9999 and click OK. And then if your transit are already read in, and also your broken link has some transit running on it, then you will see this option. So if you add a non-stop node or add a stop node or do not add node for the transit line running on this link. Here because we want to just connect a centroid connector to this new node, we'll make it add a stop node. So if you click stop node and say OK, then every transit route running on this link, running on this broken link, will automatically add a stop node at this new node location. So that's part of the answer to a question: can this transit automatically updated or not? If your transit file has already been read in, then you will have this option to automatically update it. But if your transit route has not been read in, then you will not see these options, and you'll need to modify your transit later. And I will show you how to modify your transit route later. Okay, so now we'll split this link to add a new node 9999 right here. The next step is to create a new centroid connector that connecting directly from this centroid to this new node. An easier way to do so is to copy and paste an existing centroid connector link. So we'll use this link. It's already a centroid connector used for TAZ07. So we select this link, right-click it, and click copy. And then right-click anywhere on your highway network and click paste. Now when you click paste, your mouse cursor will become a cross again. And that's why you want to input your new centroid connector locations. So you click this node, this centroid node, hold your left mouse button and drag it to your new node location and release your mouse button. So that's how you create a new link. If you connect between two existing nodes, this new link will be automatically generated. If you connect from a node to another, nowhere, and the system will ask you, do you want to create a new B node or ending node for this link? So in this case, we connect from the two existing links, from this centroid directly to the new node we just created. And then this new link will automatically be created. Then click this new centroid link, review its attributes. You'll see that this A and B will be 307 to 9999 and vice versa. So that's good. And review facility type will be 51, means centroid connectors, and number of lane will be 1. Those are fine. So that's how you finish, creating a centroid connector from this link to Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. Okay, so that's how you modify your highway network in Cube. But at the same time, if you remember, this Cube network are built from a shapefile. And another way to modify this highway network is that you modify everything of your shapefile first, and then build the new network from the updated shapefile. So I'm not going to show you how to update in GIS. I think many of you have know how to update the shapefile in GIS. So here, this page is just to show how to create a network from the shapefile. So when you have your shapefile ready, then you go to Cube, click File, then Tools, then say this one, Build Network from Shape. And this option will pop up, will allow you to build network from a shapefile. Browse and input your updated shapefile here, and give a name of your output cube.net file. And then there's few things you want to specify. One thing is either one or two ways. In our shapefile attributes, we have an indicator field called two-way. The name is two-way. And this field store the information of is either two-way or one-way for a link. So make sure you select this, select the two-way as the attribute, as the indicator. And then for node options, the start node just input 25,000 and max zone numbers. Right now we have 30, 32. So click run, and then your cube network file will be generated from this shapefile specified. Sometimes you may see this option, build network from shape, is grayed out. And that's because of the issue of your ArcGIS engine. It might not be compatible with your Cube version. Maybe your ArcGIS engine is too high, or most latest one that Cube doesn't support. Just contact your IT people and let them work through this compatibility issues. All right, so we finished updating our Highway network. Then the last step would be realign this transit route, is to modify your transit network. So keep in your Highway network table, keep in your Highway network. Then you need to add in or read in the transit line files for this new scenario. So go to the layer control, and you'll see a transit layer available there. Click it and say layer property, or double click it. You will have the transit layer parameter window pop up. Then browse the files for the transit line files. Go to your new scenarios input folder and then transit folder. You will see those .lin.line files. Select the two for both non-premium and premium. Select two files together, say open, and it will open, read in these two transit lines files for you. And if you see, if the system asks for you for any transit network with no coordinates, that's the nodes that will be used for transit only. It's not on the highway network. So you tell Q that this micro-coded stops file store the information for this transit-only links and transit-only nodes. And the cube will read in the information from this micro-coded stop file and add the information to this transit-only nodes. Then if you read in your transit file, you will see a lot of transit lines shown on your network. But here in this case, we only need to worry about these two lines, hard_18 and hard_18B. So one for northbound, one for southbound. So here you will have the ability to show only these two routes. So here under home ribbon, you will see a line manager and display lines, show stop nodes, those options available. Click this display lines. It will allow you to select any lines of interest and to show them. Here we find this hard 18, hard 18B. Select this two and click OK. So after select this two, you will only see these two routes showing on your highway network. And then we want to know the stops along this route. Here's the option to show stop nodes. Click this one, check display stop node. We're just using the default symbol and click OK. You will see that every node with the big black circle, that's a stop location along this route. And also, before the next step, let's say we want to add the transit network. Make sure you select the transit layer. That's very important. If you select the highway layer, even if you see these transit lines, you cannot select it. You click here, you only select the highway links. And the same thing, if you select the transit layer, you'll be able to edit, select the transit lines. Okay, zoom in the study area, and then we want to modify our route. So we do it one by one. First, we do Hard 18 routes. It's from south to the north, so it's northbound, from Tampa downtown to USF, then to Livingston Avenue. So we select this one. We go to the new node we just created, that 9999 place. And we see that we have one stop here, south of it. We have one stop here, north of it. But we don't see any stop or non-stop location along this highway for this new node. So that's typically when an error happens for this transit steps. Like I said, if you modify your highway network with your transit already read in, it will automatically address this issue for you and ask you to make it a stop or non-stop. But if you only modify the highway network, then you read in your transit network. You will see here the transit network still recognize the old highway network. So it will only know that there's two stops, but it won't recognize the new stop in between. So here we need to create a stop for this new node to make sure this transit line is following Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. So the thing is, you single click it, select this route. When you select a route, this route will become yellow highlighted. And then there's a route attributes table showing up, showing all the stops or non-stops node by sequence. Then you could single click this node south to your node, and then double click it. If you double click it, you will enable the editing mode. When it's in editing mode, it will become purple. So it's easy, remember that it's yellow highlighted is selected, when it's purple, and it will be in editing mode. So when it's editing mode, just click this new node, and then click the next node. So you will add this new node here. After click this node, you hit ESC button on your keyboard, and then this save current item will become available. Save it, save your edits. So that's how you add this new node as a stop for this route. And then for the north side, we want this route to follow Bruce B. Downs Boulevard all the way to New Tampa, and not the previously following Livingston Avenue. So here, how we do that is you click this node at Bruce B. Downs and Bears, that's the last stop on Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. And then you double click, enable the editing mode, and click each of the nodes on Bruce B. Downs Boulevard by sequence where the centroid connector connects. So in editing mode, you click this node, and then here, 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 and all the way to New Tampa. That's how you add a stop nodes along the Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. Hit ESC and save your edits. And now you will see your route follows Bruce B. Downs Boulevard, but it still have a few legs, directly connect back to Livingston Avenue. But this Livingston Avenue leg, I don't want it. So here's how to delete those. You can click this node here or select the nodes corresponding to the nodes on Livingston Avenue. And there's the remove row button on top. Click this remove row button to delete these 3 stops or nodes. Then save your item. And after saving, your transit line will follow Bruce B. Downs Avenue, and your last stop will be here on New Tampa. Similar thing for the reverse direction. For hard 18B, and click it to select this route. But here, difference is that it will start from Livingston Avenue and then go to Bruce B. Downs. But we want our starting stop at New Tampa area. So an easier way to do that is to, double click this this first node, and then hold your shift key and click this New Tampa node. If you hold your shift key and then click this node, it will create a direct connection to the node you click it. If not holding your shift key, it will try to follow the highway network. It could either go down and follow speed down to go to this node you collected. So hold your shift key, you could create a direct link or direct transit link to this target node. Hit ESC and accept it, then go back to your first node on Livingston Avenue, remove this route, delete it, and save your edits. And then your first node, the first stop of this route, will be in New Tampa. Double click it, make an editing mode, and click following the sequence of those nodes on Bruce B. Downs Boulevard until you hit this Bruce B. Downs and Bears Avenue node. And then hit ESC on your keyboard and accept or save your item. That's how you modify the reverse direction of this transit route. When you finish editing your transit route, you want to save it. So you could go back here, and from the drop-down list, you could save all transit files. And if you forgot to do that, don't worry. When you close this highway network, it will ask you whether you want to save the highway network. You could say yes, because we add a new node over there. Whether you want to save your transit lines files, you'll say yes, because we modified this route. So it will ask you either you want to save those edits or not. So don't worry if you forget to do save here. Okay, so now we've finished our 4 steps, and that's creating a new scenario, modify the SC data, modify the highway links, and modify the transit networks. So the next thing is to run the model. So run the model, in the home ribbon, we could find this very big run key. Click it, and the run application will pop up, and the scenario here will show the scenario you want to run. And for this case, if you select this scenario already, it will automatically show the scenario to be run. But if you don't see it, or if you want to run multiple scenarios, then you could click the select scenario button, and it will allow you to choose whatever scenarios you want to run. You could run multiple scenarios, but it won't run at the same time. So it will run one by one. When I finish one scenario, it will run next. So that you just don't need to worry about, running on your own for each of the scenarios. And then select the correct scenario you want to run, and then you click OK here. So to tell Cube you want to run this scenario. And you may see some pop-up windows, and you just say yes and OK, and the pop-up windows coming by. So that's how you run this new scenarios of your own with your modifications for SC data, for highway network, and for transit network.